Surprise, motherfucker.
What it does do, everybody, it's your boy Zenkai, and today we're playing some more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Or, should I say, we're creating in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Say what?
That's right, I'm going to be showing you how to make your own custom battles, aka bonus battles. Now, a lot of people may not know about this bonus battle thing, probably because it's called custom battle. But if you click custom battle right here in the main menu, it'll open up this right here. And you have right here bonus battles, custom battle mode, and world library. Now, bonus battles is simply just, these are like pre-made bonus battles by the team that made this game. There's not that many. You got 37 right there, and then you got custom battle mode right here, and this is just another way of creating your own custom battle. I have one made. I'll be using this one as a way of describing how to actually make it, because I will not be making another one from scratch, because these take a very long time to edit together if you are actually going for a full episode using all like 50 effects and stuff like that. It will, and you're making individual scenes, separate scenes, you want scripted stuff. It takes a long time. It took me probably about like 3 or 4 hours to put this thing together. So this video is really for those of you that want a more in-depth guide to creating something like that. It's a lot of trial and error to figure out how things work. It's a little bit weird. Not everything is as apparent as it should be, and they kind of just hide it behind a whole bunch of tutorial text boxes. So this right here, that's the same thing I just showed you earlier. It takes you to custom battle mode. World library. The world library is simply just where you can see everyone else's. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of plays as of late. I'm not too sure if this game mode is just entirely dead. If you use search, you can do an advanced search. Maybe you want to like fight with like a specific character, maybe. Search tags. Now, I don't really know if there is a, I guess, like system to these tags, because it seems like a lot of these are just kind of random. Like I've seen some people just put babe on random stuff. And this is the problem with a tag system is if people abuse the tags mean nothing. And the problem is they also like, they separate the difficulties into like 5 or 10 different tags. So you have to look for multiple tags. Like for example, mine is extreme battle, which I think is the hardest kind. I'm not sure if it's different to insanely difficult or high difficulty. Like some of these are so weird. Universal Tuffleization Plan. What kind of tag is that? Search ID. Yeah, search ID in case you want to do that. Apparently you can follow players. Clear rate 40%. Yeah, that makes sense. When you first do this, it's probably going to force you to go through a tutorial. Just skip through everything it says if you don't care about that and just listen to what I'm going to say. Now, if you want to do like super simple stuff, do read the tutorial. It will tell you how to do a simple edit. In fact, I think it's going to make you do a simple edit. That's not what we're going to be doing in this video. We're going to be doing a normal edit. And this screen right here, get familiar with it. So, top right here, characters. This is where you drop in any characters you want. As you can see, you have 10 up there. So, for example, if you wanted Goku mid, there you go. You can't have the same one. You got to actually have him transform if you want that to happen. Obviously, blue is allies. CPU, you get it. Then to the right here, you have guest characters. I've never used guest characters. I think you understand pretty much how that works. Guest characters are just characters that are there, but they're not actually fighting. You can also do it in this screen if you want. So yeah, that's that. There's not really a whole lot to that. Now, battle environment. Now, this is not just battle environment. This is where you're also going to have all your rules, and there really aren't that many rules. In actuality, most of your time is going to be spent making scenes and effects. This stuff isn't really going to matter. Like, for example, for mine that I made, I used City Evening, or maybe City... No, I used City Night. I think West City at nighttime is a really good vibe to it. Counterattack. Counterattack is my favorite music. I love Counterattack. It's pretty good. So yeah, and then you got rules here. So time limit goes all the way up to 600 or no limit. And it also goes as low as, 3 minutes. So player fusion, turn that off. No player fusion. Turn that off. No player transformation. No switching. Same thing with the CPU. And also whether or not you want flying. Very simple. Now, it should be noted, player stuff is self-explanatory. But for CPU fusions and transformations, you can still do fusions and transformations and like switching and all that, You just have to make it an effect instead of like in the rules here. They won't do it out of their own volition. So like if you had like a scripted transformation, you would make sure that you turn off transformations. Otherwise, the CPU is just going to end up like going Super Saiyan, and it's going to completely ruin your quest line or like whatever like dialogue you had set up for when they go Super Saiyan. Maybe you had some scripted attacks. None of that stuff's going to work because they just went Super Saiyan right off the bat and ruined everything. So that's that. There's really nothing more to that. We're going to talk about effect settings last because we're going to be there probably the longest. Scene settings. Now, these are also pretty important. So you got your opening, and you have your regular win and your regular loss. Now, why regular win and regular loss? You can also have special condition wins and losses. So, for example, in my Tapion story, I don't have a special win condition, but what I do, however, have is a special loss condition. So, long story short, during my episode, you fight 2 versions of Trunks, and it was kind of weird because if without the special condition, it would just be like one Trunks model, no matter what time you lose in. So with the special condition, I was able to make it so the future Trunks from Dragon Ball Super appears instead of the future Trunks from Dragon Ball Z. It sounds confusing. It's really not that confusing. So you got your regular win, regular loss here. I actually had to search around a little bit for where this actually was, because I had no idea where the special win condition was. It turns out effects right here, hit RT, it's right there. Special win, special loss. And it's like the same conditions as if you're setting up an effect. So I won't really talk about this right now, but just keep that in mind. Now, creating scenes. I'm not fully sure of how many scenes you can make, but if you go into a scene right here, you make cuts, and a scene is comprised of up to 5 different cuts. Now, what is a cut? A cut can either be a 3D or 2D. Now, I'm not going to lie, you're probably not going to be using 2D cuts all that much, aside from maybe like your intro sequences. These are just like sceneries, stuff like that. You unlock these from like story, like episode missions. So yeah, you're probably not going to be using a whole lot of these. So for example, I use Nighttime West City. There you go. And this will be my chance to tell you about my first gripe with this system. Okay, you see that? This looks like a normal scroll list. It looks like a normal scroll down. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Holy crap. Look at all of these names. It's still going. Look at that. They have Captain Ginyu. Like, look at that. They need to be that specific. They have a Captain Ginyu version for every single one. Great Ape, every single one. That's right. They have Great Ape for every character. They have Cooler Zamasu, Kaba Zamasu. What even is half of this stuff? Krellin, Captain Ginyu, Cooler Baby. This is some of the most... Android 13 Zamasu. Some of the most confusing stuff, and then they just have like random titles and races down here. Some of the worst, and also it's not alphabetized. Instead, we have race. We can sort by race, the Democrats' favorite. Ghost Usher. Apparently that's a race. Cyborg, the cyborg race. Alright, the Metamorans, because, I mean, do we even know what Metamorans look like? Anyways, so I think you get the idea here. It's an absolute nightmare. There is no way of searching up, like, with your keyboard. There's no way of actually typing in titles or names. You cannot search a name. If someone's gonna make a mod for this damn game, oh my god, right next to this, put like a little box right here, let me type it in, filter through these things. It would save so much time. Instead, what you're probably gonna have to do is you're gonna have to make a mental note, maybe take a picture, a screenshot, figure out where your characters are. So for example, in mine, I only had Trunks and Tapion. Now, it should be noted in mine, I used the word Trunks. I theoretically could have used Future Trunks, but I did not know Future Trunks was even an option. So, instead I used Trunks, plus it makes sense. People call them Trunks anyways. So, I use, like a specific name. Like, you see, like, all these androids right here? Since I know I'm passing these androids, Tapion's right here. Now, I know Trunks is past Tapion, so you scroll a little bit further, there's Trunks right there. Now, how did I figure that out? I did this a whole hell of a lot of times. And if you thought the names were bad, the captions are not much better. In fact, it is probably much worse. So, you have it here sorted by all, switch one word, which I didn't really know what that even meant at the beginning. But what this means is you switch this word. So, like, for example, this one is like, get up Goku. You would say, get up, Trunks. Hurry, Vegeta. Hurry, Trunks. Stuff like that. The same thing. Yeah, you just go in here and then you search up the name again. Take this angry Kamehameha. It's got all the moves. Like, take this Yamcha. Oh, and then it gets blown up by a Cyberman. Haha, everyone laughs. I'm not sure how many captions you can do. Let's see. Up to 3. And then you can also change the battle game music. So you need to make sure that you change this because it is a little bit jarring to just watch a scene with no audio whatsoever. Yeah, you see how quiet it got? Like, do yourself a favor, put in some good music, put on some Zenkai Power. Put on some Survivor. Put on Climax. Gloom is good if you lose. This is normally what plays like when you actually lose and things. What are some good ones? Kame House is good if you're fucking around. Maybe you got some Sexy Times. Super Training's a pretty good one. For like your climactic points in your battle. Maybe you're doing like a scene change, like Clash. It's good. Screen effects, all your common video effects that you would see. High saturations, the fisheye lens, all that good stuff. So these thumbnails, they can matter. They genuinely don't. This is just like the thumbnail for the cut, so like you know what specific cut you're putting in certain places. Now, if you want, you have the option of creating a slideshow of thumbnails. These are the thumbnails that it will use. So if you want, make sure you take like decent thumbnails just so people have a good idea of what they're getting. Take this, Yamcha. Hurry, Great Ape Vegeta. Super Vegeto's determination. Stuff like that. So, like, yeah, that's a scene. Now we need to talk about 3D scenes. It's essentially the same thing, but you're going to be using these probably a lot more. So get yourself familiar with these. The speed impact is a pretty good one. So, like, a common one like that I do is, so make sure you go all the way to the bottom. Every single time, you got to make sure you hit finish editing. And you change all your stuff, and this is why you capture thumbnail. Now, I wish there was a better way to capture your thumbnail, but unfortunately, you have to do it like that. And then maybe you want to, like, show, like, one character specifically losing. You go into 3D here. There's another one, Clash. These ones are good for, like, if you're starting the battle. Now, what I was talking about is with, like, send flying. So, if someone loses, bang, they get send flying, capture the thumbnail. And then the way you'd probably finish that off is maybe like a post-battle. You know, you crip walk on your enemy's graves, stuff like that. Maybe you want them to be injured. It's like they just got up after a hard battle. And maybe they commend their foe. Maybe they just traded and you want the battle to continue, so you do huge damage. Knockback is the most ideal choice. Make sure that they're getting knocked back in the correct direction. You will be able to actually change that. So, like, from the camera angle, this isn't available for every single one. But if you want, like, them to get hit towards the right side of the screen, there you go. Left side of the screen, there you go. You can also do captions, battle game music, slow motion. Now, I haven't really messed around with slow motion that much, so I can't tell you a whole lot about this. But it's kind of like you're picking a specific frame to go into slow motion on. So, like, I think, like, frame 50 in this case, and he's just kind of stuck in the air. I don't like it that much. I think slow motion's kind of jarring, so it's not a personal favorite of mine. I can see you doing a lot of funny, creative things with that, like Goku's ass. His ass was just straight up in the air right there. I think you could shove something up in that.
What?
So you, like, create your opening sequence. So, like, this isn't a very good opening sequence, but we're just gonna take this stuff right here. We're gonna hit save, and now we have our first scene, and then there. That's your opening scene. We can preview it real quick right here. Yeah. So really as simple as that. Now you can get as creative as you want with those. Obviously you got to stay within the lines of the scenes they have laid out for you. And then we'll talk about the title screen real quick. There's not a whole lot to this. So remember those like 2D stills that I showed you? Same thing. You gotta pick one Pick one you like. I think I went with the night one for mine. Text, it's probably going to be a lot of these switch words. Now, you can use the filters to make it a little bit more specific. Like, maybe you want a sad... Well, maybe not sad, because there's only one, but maybe you want, like a questioning one, where you're asking a question. Like, who are you calling Pinhead? Who are you calling Boy? And we got like Piccolo beaten up. We got Piccolo beaten up like Super Android 13 or something. Melody, there's not very many melodies. So yeah, pick one you like and roll with it. Thumbnail, very similar thing, what I was showing you. So that slideshow thing I was talking about. So if you have like multiple, you can probably have more than 4. I only have 4. You can add your tags. You're only allowed 2 tags for some reason. So, like, maybe rigged match theory. We got our slide and our thumbnail. We can do Goku with his ass tooted up. There we go. We got who you call boy, rigged match theory with the slideshow in the bottom. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes, your effects. Now, I'm going to talk about this very briefly in here, and then I'm going to actually go on over to my Tapion episode so we have a better idea of what this can actually look like. So you can set effects to either be auto or optional. Now, if it's optional, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's an optional condition. Auto conditions will just happen automatically. Now, you have 50 total effects. So generally, I don't think you'll need very much more than 50 as long as you're being efficient with your effects. Get used to using this switch menu here. You have copy, which is your copy and paste. What it'll do is it'll place this first one all the way at the bottom. So like, if we do like, I'm just going to do some random stuff real quick. Do that, you hit copy, boom, it's down there. And if you wanted to like move that up, you click that, you click it again. And let's say like you want it like right next to the other one. Bing, bang, boom, there you go, they're switched. You hit B to exit out of the switch menu. Maybe you want to delete one. There you go. Delete all. Looks like it does a toggle system. It doesn't automatically do it. That's probably a good decision. It might be a little bit tedious, but let's be honest here. You're only working like 50 here, so it's not that tedious. Okay, now I'm going to switch on over to my Tapion episode. Okay, see here I have my Tapion episode. I'm going to just go through all those simple things that I showed you earlier. So the player, you're going to be playing as Tapion, and you're versing Future Trunks from Dragon Ball Z. And then later on in the fight, you're going to be versing Future Trunks from Super. There are no guest characters. We're going to be playing on West City at the nighttime. Counterattack is going to be our battle game music. We have like everything turned off. Our scene, we got 3 different scenes that we're going to be using. I have one for regular win, regular loss. Make sure you have these because everyone's going to have a regular win. Everyone's going to have a regular loss. So make sure you include them. Here's my title screen. I see you have returned Tapion. And you can see at the bottom right there, I'm also using the slideshow. So it's showing you the fight with Tapion, showing you them talking to each other, and it shows you the arena that you're going to be fighting in. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes, the effects. I've used 49 out of 50 here. And this is where I think trial and error is going to be your like biggest friend here. I wanted to do specific things during this fight. I wanted Trunks to be stronger than Tapion. I wanted it to feel like a real fight. Now the thing is, as you can see here, I set the first condition so that if anyone's HP remaining is at 100%, it makes Trunks equip all of these Z items. Now if you don't know what Z items are, they're like you see these, like you acquire these like through the shop and you can apply them on certain characters and they provide certain buffs. So in this case, I'm using a lot of different buffing items, like these. Like this will increase a health bar, give him more key regeneration, no damage during guards, stuff like that. And I'm also, should be noted, that if you scroll all the way to this section, like right here, you can have different effects that like reduce like the damage you're doing. Like, it reduces your damage output, it reduces defense. Maybe you want to switch out, like, maybe you want, like, those rules, like, no switch-outs, but you don't want it to actually be an official rule in the game. You would want to use Z-items for that. Z-items are essentially how you make raid bosses. You can do whatever you want with them, including different effects. Like, you can make, like, see a Raging Blast here. The CPU will prioritize using blast attacks. They'll hinder their opponent more. So, yeah, when the AI was fucking you over, when you were trying to go into sparking mode, guess what? You probably was designed that way by the devs. Okay, now going through like these actual effects, a lot of these are pretty self-explanatory. There's like no conditions, so if you just want something to happen right off the bat, do that. Now, I found that no conditions, sometimes it just doesn't work, which is why I'm using HP remaining instead. To be honest, it doesn't really work either. So, like, defeat, so if a specific character is defeated, that's, like, this will trigger. If you want, like, a special win condition, you would use stuff like this. Like, if you beat someone with an ultimate blast, then a special win condition happens, and you play, like, a special scene. You're going to be using these ones a lot, HP remaining. So if, like, let's say you attack someone and their HP went down to maybe 75%, you could play... You could, like, let's say, like, Tapion's HP went down to 50%. And this is the amount of times you want it to loop. So, like, let's say you had Tapion heal, and you wanted him to say the same voice line twice, you would do 2 times. But instead, we're just going to do 1. So when Tapion's HP is equal to or lower than 50%, maybe you want him to say something. So we go into display text right here. Same thing with the way you made the scenes. Like Anilaza, get up, Anilaza. Simple as that. The rest of these, pretty self-explanatory. If a certain amount of time has elapsed, if there's a certain amount of time remaining, if you want like a specific tack. So let's say Tapion hits Future Trunks, and you hit him with your skill 1 time, stuff like that. So if you block an attack, if you miss an attack, status change if you want. So if you go into sparking mode, or you're stunned, or you're blinded by solar flare, those are statuses. Your current status, there's not very many. Your form changes. So obviously Tapion doesn't have a form. However, Trunks does. So Future Trunks right there, and it'll make him form change. Now maybe like this current form right here would have been a better use of the way I used my Z capsules. If I used my Z items, like if I had Trunks in his current form of Super Saiyan, then do the Z items, like maybe that would have been a good idea. I'm not sure. Like I said, a lot of trial and error with this. You can have like a condition if as characters swap. So let's say if Trunks swapped with Future Trunks, these conditions will happen. Performing specific actions, same thing as I've said previously, skills, options, stuff like that. Using emotes, sure, I guess, if you want to. That was your bread. Now your butter is going to come from these effects right here, and this is where you're going to be doing a lot of trial and error. So, self-explanatory, most of these. Others, not so much. Recover HP. Let's say Trunks. There you go. Recovered 100% of his HP when he switches. Okay. Recover key. Same thing. You can make them lose HP. You can make them lose key. You can make them change their HP, change their key. You can display text. You can force character switches, force transformations. Same with fusions, Z items, removing Z items. So if you made a raid boss and you want like him not to be a raid boss anymore, there you go. Now these blast hits right here, now these are unblockable. And it says power can be adjusted between 0 and 999%. So these are a little bit weird for me, because I had it set to where it would only do 10% of your HP. However, I had it set on Future Trunks from Z, and it wasn't working. No matter what, he would take away over half your health bar whenever he used his ultimate. And for some reason, when I switched it so that it only happened when Future Trunks transformed like into Super Saiyan, and for some reason, Super Saiyan Trunks, as soon as he pops out, the Z items and this condition work for some reason. I have no idea why. It's super weird. So like you'd go into Ultimate Blast. Let's say you want Trunks to do 10% of someone's HP. It would look like that. You can ban moves. Like I've seen one where they want it to be like a climactic end to the battle, so they ban you from using your ultimates. You can also allow moves if you ban them. Same thing with transformations. You can make the AI harder or easier. It's up to 20 levels. Strategy type, we get these from the store. I'm not going to explain all of these, but I'm just going to slowly scroll through right there. Use the comma and or period key on your keyboard to slowly scroll through those while paused if you want to look at them. But yeah, it basically does what it says. You can also change the battle game music, force an action, so you can force someone to use an ultimate blast. Oh, look at that. So it actually looks like you can use... Okay, I just figured this out. You can use all 3 tables. So what it looks like you need to do is, you need to create an effect in the first table, and then switch to the next table, and then start using... Okay. I understand. That's interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. You can also make it so like adds emotes. You can make it so that the characters get buffed. So I experimented with this. Yeah, you can do all this stuff. Now the thing is with all of this is it only lasts for 10 seconds, which kind of makes it not super good for raid bosses. I think you'd probably have to make like, if you want like in a 3-minute fight, you gotta make like 18 of those. Kind of a waste of effects. Now a super important one that I need to explain to you is trigger event. So let's say you have a fight, like for example in this fight you battle Trunks, you beat him the first time, then he goes Super Saiyan, then you beat him, and then what happens is you trigger an event. And this is where you create your own scenes. You can make one specifically through the screen. You gotta make sure you save it, though. So, like, let's say I just defeated Trunks. Okay, so our condition is gonna be defeat. And our target will be Tapion. And the selected character will be future Trunks. And very simple like that. You see that? Tapion with the red arrows kills Trunks. Very simple. Then that will trigger this effect with these Z items. That's pretty much it. There's not really a whole lot more to it. Now I'm going to explain a little bit of my design philosophy when I made this, so you have an idea of how exactly my things work. So obviously at the start of the battle, I have him equip Z items to become a raid boss. Forget about this defeat. It used to be HP remaining instant or something like that. It doesn't matter now. A couple different things. So this right here, this is when Trunks gets defeated. It's very odd. So if the character ends up getting killed before they hit this HP. The reason I had this set at 10% is because it's a little bit finicky with how the character is defeated. So if you like overkill an enemy and they don't exactly hit 10%, there's a chance that you could just instantly end the fight, which with my fight, that can still happen when you verse the phase 2 of Trunks. Trunks when he's going to Super Saiyan. If you have a specific damage output, you can skip his entire Super Saiyan phase. That's not intended, but it can happen. So that's why I set it to 10%. It happens a lot less often. And I found that at very low percentages, it simply just does not work. I think the lowest I've seen it work at is 3%. And 3%, it maybe has like it works 20% of the time. 10%, I've seen it work probably about 95% of the time. It's pretty effective. So obviously we have Trunks recover his HP. He says, okay, this'll end it. And then he transforms into Super Saiyan. And Tapion gives him his response. And then I had this separated because putting it all in one is kind of sloppy. So same thing, this is supposed to happen after he transforms into Super Saiyan. He'll say, take a stance, and then he hits you with the scripted blast. And for some reason, the moment he turns Super Saiyan, all this Z item stuff and the ultimate blast hit, they work for some reason. If I have regular Trunks use the ultimate blast, he does half the HP all the time. I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense. But for some reason, when he's Super Saiyan, it works. So that's how that works. Now, for a lot of these, like I have different HP percentages. There's not a whole lot of reason of explaining these. When HP is equal to or lower than 75%, I have Tapion and Trunks do like a couple of voice lines against each other. I have these for both characters. I have like a couple sets per. It tends to be enough that if they trigger an event where Tapion and them have a clash and then Trunks gets defeated, and we have the reveal that Trunks is now transformed into the future Trunks from Dragon Ball Super. And I originally had it to where Tapion, if you have this all set up and you don't recover Tapion's HP, he will just have like 1 HP or like whatever he had remaining before that. It's kind of feels bad. So maybe you want to recover your player's HP. There you go. Now, of course, since future Trunks is back out and on the prowl, I Need to do the Z items for him specifically. And same thing with this Trunks. The Z items, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I have it right here before. It does not work until it goes into Super Saiyan. I do not know why. These are more voice lines. Then when he goes 10%, he'll say, look, I don't have the luxury of easing into this. Long story short, recovers all his HP, and then he transforms into Super Saiyan. And then he hits you with the Ultimate Blast. Just like how I did the other one. And that's pretty much it. There isn't really anything else to this fight. Now that I've explained all those things, like the little nuances and stuff like that, I want you to actually see the battle so you get an idea of what the final product looks like, okay? Oh yeah, and that leads directly into the fight. Now I'm gonna try to do the fight for you. This is a hard fight. I've tried to make it as hard as possible, so I'm gonna try my best. I have played a lot of Tapion, so I am very good with Tapion. Get up, Trunks. Get up, Trunks. Dude, Trunks. I'm trying to do a showcase right now, man. Dude, stop blocking if you're not gonna do anything.
You're done.
You see down there the audio that we have selected. Like, for example, Trunks is probably like at like 75 or 50%, so his automated dialogue is playing. Now I'm gonna try to hit him with a super right now, so you get an idea of why I do that 10% rule. Because I want you to see the overkill. So for example, there's gonna be a lot of overkill right here. And you're gonna see his HP go immediately up. Just like that. That's why we have that set up, because of the overkill.
Let's settle this.
Now you go Super Saiyan.
It's over.
And he does his scripted ultimate attack. Now you see, since I have it set to 10%, it's going to do pretty much none of my HP. That is as intended. Okay, now I have to make sure I play this well, otherwise Trunks will kill me.
Time to end this. Got it. I'll fight with my life on the line. I will save this world. I'll finish you off.
Alright, and then I'll go into our first scene change the moment I defeat him. Now, I wish you could, like, separate these out and, like, have, like, the start of scenes and maybe continuous scene, but you can't really do that because, like, see right now, Trunks, yes, I'm feeling warmed up too. I would really like it if I could put, like, a music change right there, but this is the best I can do. Now we have Tapion all confused that this is Trunks, even though he looks different. Funny, funny. Now we go into the next fight. Okay, that's the first time that's ever happened. That wasn't supposed to happen. I don't know why that happened.
You're done. Got it.
Alright, Trunks is kicking my ass right now.
Solar flare.
He's a bit of a solar flare spammer also. Alright, this is not going very well so far. I will note, it has a 40% completion, so most people are not apparently beating my my story. So there's also not very many plays, so.
Solar flare.
God, he loves spamming solar flare.
There you are. I'll fight with my life on the line. I will save this world. I'll finish you off.
Hey, see that right there? That's not supposed to happen. I put the 10%, and it doesn't matter. Because you see that right there? It still happens. He was supposed to go into Super Saiyan right there, and I overkilled him. I have no idea why it works like that. I don't know how else to do it, because the moment the game thinks that he is defeated, it just completely skips it. The moment it thinks he's defeated, it goes right into the win condition scene. So I don't really understand. Maybe you gotta set the HP even higher. Maybe you have to set a scene change the instant he goes down to 10%. These are things that you're gonna have to try out yourself, because quite frankly, I can't be bothered to keep finicking around with the system until they make some much needed changes to the filtering. Because as of right now, the filtering is just not acceptable. That's a little bit disappointing. I wanted you to see the Super Saiyan part. Okay, I'm going to replay it real quick, and I'm going to do the Super Saiyan part proper, just so you can actually see it. There we go. So yeah, that's how it was supposed to actually be.
Finish you off. I'm filled with determination. My strength be a shield for all of us mortals. Here we go, everyone. I can feel it. Keep it coming, guys. Share your power with me.
You see the reason why I didn't have it 100%, didn't do like the regular amount of damages? That would have just killed me. So Tapion only has 3 health bars. So yeah, at 1.5 health bars, you will die. So that is why I have it set up that way.
Got it. Come on.
And Trunks does not really give you any room to breathe, as you can see. And we'll see this goes into the lose condition with future trunks. Yep, that's essentially it. There's not really a whole lot more to it. One last thing, if you open up the sub menu on something that you've created, you will see that little post button right there. If you click that, that will allow you to post your bonus battle into the world library. It should be noted that you need to complete your entire bonus battle at least once before being able to post it, which is what that little controller icon is in the top left corner. Well, with that completed, that about wraps up the episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a good one, and bye-bye!